This is the Codcast. All things Whitby Town FC.
Yes, hello and welcome to the show. I'm Andrew Snaith, and Liam Ryder and Paul Connolly join me from the Whitby Town media team. And first of all, we're going to hear from the Whitby Town assistant manager, Denny Ingram, who spoke to Liam earlier.
Well, Denny, it's been nice and frantic since the end of the season, really. A lot of outgoings. Really, what's sort of your stance on it at the moment? Because I'm sure it's quite disruptive for yourself and Bully.
It's been a busy time. We haven't stopped. Obviously, speaking to current players and then speaking to potential newcomers. But I think all in all, it was very evident come the end of the season that something wasn't quite right within the dressing room. And having a chat with Bully, I believe that it was the right time to really have a change of mindset, a change of direction, to hopefully take this club where it deserves to be, and that's not scraping through last game of the season, staying in the league. No disrespect to the players that were here last year, but something wasn't quite right, whether that there was desire, passion, playing for the badge. I'm a firm believer that you go out and you earn what's given to you. It's not just a given. And I just believe that, I think some of them had just gone into cruise mode, shall we say.
Yeah, and you mentioned there about, as it goes, it sort of turned into pretty much a complete overhaul of the squad. But like you referenced there, you have actually offered contracts to new players, players to return rather. But is it frustrating for you sort of having this, I guess it's kind of the norm now, but players coming back, sort of delaying the process? Because I suppose was there delaying, it's kind of like, where does that leave you in terms of recruitment as well?
Look, I think it's the same at every club. You'll have players that you want to keep. Some players, I believe we're probably getting paid a little bit too much. So we went back. We'd give them offers on the table with incentives to actually go and earn it. Whether that's scoring goals, keeping clean sheets, winning games of football. So the incentives were there. Unfortunately, they decided that the grass is greener on the other side, and has decided to turn them contracts down. And look, I wish them all the best. But like I said, is evidently it was going to be a rebuild. Obviously, we would have liked to have kept a couple just to give us a foundation. There's still offers on the table for two or three that we're still waiting to hear. But quite rightly, players have the right to see what options are out there, see what's right for them. Just like we've got the right to go and change things. It's speaking to other managers and other players, they're in exactly the same boat. Offers are in for players, offers are on the table for current players, and people are searching for the right mentality and the right type of player that's going to come in and change the mood of the camp.
Yeah, and by the sound of it as well, though, there are some, a couple of players that were hopeful maybe be in the door soon. But I guess really as a management team, I know Bully did it a few weeks ago, but sort of just reassuring supporters, that it's still relatively early, really, isn't it, in the off season? There is still plenty of time for players to come in and ultimately have a good squad going to the start of pre-season.
Absolutely, and listen, even in pre-season, players they'll have an idea of where they want to go and what they want to do, and what level they want to be playing at, and they'll go and test themselves. Then players will become available during pre-season. So look, there's no panic. Yes, we would have liked to have definitely getting a couple across the line just to get faces into the building, which then triggers other people. When people see players coming into a club, they take note, they see what kind of direction we're going to try and go in, and they buy into the process. And, I'm sure once we get one or two across the line, we've got a meeting tonight with a player who I think has the right mentality, the right desire to push the club forward. So fingers crossed we can get him over the line tonight. And then, like I said, once we start putting out there the players that we're looking to bring in, then I'm sure that people will be jumping on board and wanting to come in the same direction.
Yeah, and then just finally, really, obviously we've seen the game at Mask announced for pre-season. I guess in amongst the players, I suppose you're sort of working on a few pre-season fixtures as well to add in.
Yeah, we've got the schedule up. We're going to come back on the 24th of June. A few training sessions before the Mask game, and then it's pretty much all guns blazing training games. We've got 5 or 6 already lined up. We've got a couple of dates where we're not too sure whether we're going to train or maybe try and get another game in. But like I say, it's pretty settled. We're pretty set in our ways of what the schedule's going to be. We're all prepared that way. Now it's just a job of getting bodies into the club to move the club forward.
This is the Codcast.
That's Denny Ingram speaking to Liam ahead of what we hope will be a busy week with lots going on. First of all, we have got the Centenary Dinner, which is lined up for next weekend as we speak. So that's Saturday the 23rd. Liam, it should be a big occasion.
Yeah, it certainly will be. Lots of interest. We've got players, officials, volunteers, pretty much everybody, past and present, in attendance on the night. So, it'd be great to see some more names come back. Those who perhaps not involved in the club but really keen to get involved with this particular evening. A lot of effort's gone into organising it, I know that much. But I think on the whole, really, it's a chance to celebrate 100 years of Whitby Town Football Club, which is the main thing. It's a very, a massive milestone for the club. And really think in this day and age, rare that a club actually gets to 100 years. Certainly plenty of highs and lows in there, but on the whole, there's some fantastic memories there that I'm sure people are really keen to reminisce about. And that's really sort of at the start of the evening when there'll be a big slideshow of a lot of images from throughout the years at Whitby Town. But on the whole, really, it's just about to celebrate everything good about the club, and there is plenty to sort of look back on with fondness. And I think the main thing as well, of course, it's a chance to raise a bit of money for the football club as well. There'll be a massive auction. There's some really good prizes in there. So that's going to be a key part of it as well. But on the whole, just great to have all these, these big names that are associated with the history of the club to come back together all in one room for the night. And, hopefully it can be a really memorable evening for everyone that comes to that.
Absolutely. And earlier this week, Liam caught up with the organiser, Martin Hart.
Well, Martin, the Centenary Dinner on the horizon. What can you sort of just tell supporters initially? What are the plans for the night? I know a lot in store for it.
Yeah, well, we're celebrating 100 years, which is a fantastic achievement. We'll have some guests there that have been connected with the football club for a long, long time. Ex-players, ex-officials. Just looking forward to getting everybody together and everybody having a good night, and onwards and upwards for Whitby Town Football Club.
Yeah, and that's it as well, isn't it? We've sort of seen the tables. There's a lot of current names, a lot of names from the past that maybe don't come to games anymore. A lot of old sponsors, a lot of former club officials, and of course, some players as well, notably the 1997 FA Vase winners.
Yeah, this is an opportunity to get together. We're hoping to have even 3 guys from the 1965 Wembley team, which is amazing. They're all in their 80s now, plus the 97, a representation from the 97, and people that have been involved in the club playing and managing over the years, which I'm sure supporters that have been coming for a long time will recognise these people when they see them on the night, and probably haven't seen them for 30 years, so it'd be good. And we're looking forward to the support from all the local businesses that we get. We've been very lucky with promises of raffle prizes and auction lots. People are very generous when they know that it's a good cause.
Yeah, and of course that as well, we've got quite a few other centenary sort of fundraisers going on, but a big part of the night, of course, is going to be that auction. Some really great prizes donated so far.
Yeah, we've got a range of prizes, hopefully something to suit everybody, and so bring your wallets, bring your bank cards. There are some exciting things to bid for, and we've got a professional auctioneer doing the job, so I'm sure we'll have a bit of fun with it as well.
Yeah, and of course as well, I know it's been not the best of season on the pitch for Whitby Town this year, just about avoiding relegation. But, a chance now, I suppose, in a way, it sort of brings in a bit of a new era at the club and a chance to really celebrate, what has been 100 years of ups and downs, but really a massive milestone for a club of this size to get to 100 years.
Absolutely. We're all nail-biting on the last game of the season because that would have been a tragedy, celebrating 100 years and our first ever relegation. So luckily that didn't happen. It's onwards and upwards. It looks like there's going to be some changes. Let's hope for the better.
The Codcast, all things Whitby Town FC.
That's Martin Hart speaking to Liam earlier on this week. So a great occasion. Paul, we've found out a little bit more about the makeup of the NPL Premier for 2026 to 27. One particular surprise in there.
The inclusion of Quorn within the Northern Premier League Premier Division, who seemingly replaced Rushall Olympic. Obviously, it's all sort of kind of pending appeals and such. I know Quorn do intend to. I think, when we've spoken away from the show, we kind of maybe half expected that we'd end up keeping Rushall, whereas, obviously Rushall didn't want to stay in the northern section, and I don't think too many would have been overly keen on going to Rushall either in the northern section, and that's, nothing against Rushall Olympic as a club. It's just a bit of a hike when you're approaching that sort of that Wolverhampton Walsall area there. But yeah, it's obviously Quorn being the one there that's the surprise, shall we say. Like I said, we thought they might get kept with Anstey Nomads in the Midland section, but as it is, they have been shifted. It's maybe another bit of a Barwell Hinckley situation. I think there's only 8 miles between Anstey and Quorn, so I can see maybe why they're appealing. But when you look at the makeup of it, they are geographically the closest club to the northern section, so I don't think that appeal will end up happening to go in their favour. But obviously we mentioned them. We sort of know the other teams that are coming into the league. Obviously Avro coming up, Bury coming up. There's Redcar Athletic, of course, and Emley coming down. There's there is Alfreton and Curzon Ashton. Yes, another. I mean, I don't think we've played Alfreton since 2004. Wow, I think I'll have to check that one with Steve Holliday. Because obviously they went up to the what was then the conference, straight from the Northern Premier League. And then obviously Curzon Ashton, they haven't been in the league since 2014 either. So a couple of teams there that we haven't faced for a long time, grounds that we haven't gone to for a long time. For myself, I know that that game at Alfreton, that'll be my first trip there, and I think I've got 5 or 6 new grounds if you include Workington playing at the rugby stadium. So I think there's going to be a few town fans ticking off grounds. I know that obviously yourself and Liam, you'll both be ticking a good few off as well. So it's always exciting to have a few new grounds. We had a bit of a drought last year. I mean, I think I only had Cleethorpes as a new one. I know quite a lot of Whitby fans had been to quite a number of the grounds that we did visit on last season. So it'd be nice to see some new grounds, some new faces, and travel to face a few new clubs in what will hopefully be an exciting, or should we say, a less exciting Northern Premier League season. A nice sort of mid-table finish minimum would do me fine. Nice bit of comfortable season.
Yeah, I was going to say it would be nice to have a resting heart rate that wouldn't see me likely admitted to a local medical facility. Yes, a nice relaxing season would be great. Yes, in terms of, this is where we can really let loose with our non-league geekery here. I've done the Impact Arena, I've done Alfreton. I was puzzled by them putting seating behind the goal, but I don't know if that was just a temporary measure just to get up to the magic number, which I think was 300 or something to get into Whitby's league, to get into the NPL Premier. So I've done Alfreton. I haven't done Cleethorpes, so I'm really excited about that one. I don't think any of us have done Avro or Emley. Curzon Ashton, we've done in the early hours of a Monday morning by the time we got back to civilization, i.e. North Yorkshire, Connors. I remember that one on a Monday night.
We were locked in the car park.
You'll never leave. That'll be a new one for you, won't it, Liam Curzon?
Yes, quite a few new ones in there, really. Alfredton we mentioned. I mean, obviously Whitby haven't played them since. I mean, I was about 5, I think, by the sounds of it, than the last time we played them. Sorry to make anyone feel old there, but yeah, quite a few
Cheers.
new grounds thrown in for this one, which is good. We're not that we're groundhoppers, but we do like a new ground. Somewhere new, different to go to. But yeah, Alfredton, Avro. I haven't been to Bury. I know you chaps will have been when FC United were playing there. Curzon, Ashton, Emily, basically all of them. All of them bar Redcar. They're the only ones that's they're all quite a few new grounds to go out there, which we like. I mean, probably no more so than Steve Holiday because he definitely loves the new ground. But yeah, certainly I think really just makes it a bit more exciting because with all due respect to the clubs to go to, it does get a bit boring when you go into the same teams every year. So to have a bit of variety in there, as much as the M62 is primarily involved, Kelsey, on the whole, it should be a bit of excitement there for us all.
Absolutely. I was going to say we do follow a team that's been in the same division for 30 years, so I guess that could happen with the boredom. I mean, I'm excited. I'm looking forward to some new grounds. I love it. We're going to hear from Graeme Hinchliffe, who spoke to Liam earlier on.
Well, Graeme, plenty going on at Whitby Town in the off-season. A lot of incomings, hopefully, on the horizon. A few outgoings as well. But on the whole, what can you tell support about what's going on at the club at the moment?
Big changes are happening. Some obviously are enforced due to players wanting to leave, deciding to leave, which is a little bit disappointing because there's quite a few players that we were wanting to retain, but they feel that they want to change. Some of the lads have been here for a while. But I think the other side of that coin is that it gives us a chance to get a big fresh look at a new set of players. Bully and Denny are really working hard on recruitment at the moment, and we've got some really exciting players in the pipeline. Obviously I can't give any names at this stage, but there's lots of comings and goings. But I do feel that with the changes that we're happening at the club anyway, in terms of the structure and how we operate going forward, I think the new squad will freshen everything up and give all the fans something to look forward to next season.
Yeah, and like you said, not just on the pitch, a few new faces off the pitch as well getting involved. Paul Walker already announced the cost, but a few, again, other sort of pipeline individuals that are hopefully going to get on board.
That's right. We're recruiting a whole commercial team, which will be headed up by a guy called Jim Cairns, who comes with a very, very good CV. And there's quite a few people who've put the names in the hat to work with him. We've also got Paul working on getting a volunteer manager and a match day operations team. So I think, from my perspective, I'm looking forward to the next few months with, real excitement, because I think the new people coming in with fresh ideas are really going to kind of pep the football club back up.
Yeah, and I know it's been mentioned as well at supporter club meets about the charity status that you're looking for as well. And what would that mean once that's all fully in place in terms of how it can benefit the club?
I think it's a benefit to the community, really, Liam, as well as the club. I think the whole point of this is that we've got a great set of assets up here in terms of the clubhouse, the pitch and the facilities that we've got. And what we're trying to do with the charity is to be really community focused. So I'm not looking necessarily for people to be obsessed with football who want to work with the charity and become trustees of the charity. I want people who want to work with the community under the Whitby Town banner that can bring some benefit to everybody in the town of Whitby.
This is the Codcast.
That's Graeme Hinchliffe, board member at Whitby Town FC. I mean, obviously, with the news as well that Lewis Hawkins has joined Redcar Athletic earlier on today, there is obviously going to be a lot of change, Paul, this summer.
Yeah, there is. It's a busy it's a busy old summer, and we sort of all expected it, I think, didn't we? We knew that there was definitely going to be, a number of outgoings, and it has proven to be the case so far. But what I will say is, I do want to sort of reassure people, and I know that Graeme did in his interview as well. But for all the outgoings, there are a number of incomings. Obviously, you mentioned at the top of the show that we can't name any names at the moment, and that's always the frustrating part. When you know this information and you can't sort of name any names and you can't say, oh, X, Y, and Z's coming through the door. But hopefully we're going to start to see some movement, a lot sooner rather than later. Bully and Denny have been very busy. They've been having a ridiculous amount of conversations. It's one of those that once the first domino falls, then I think you'll start to see a few more fall. I think that's the important thing to note. It's getting that sort of first couple over the line, those first sort of 2 or 3 decent players that you can sort of point to and go, right, obviously this has happened last season, but this is where we're at now. These are the players that we'll bring to the football club. This is where we want to be. This is where we want to be this coming season. This is where we want to be the season after. And you can start to build that, and it does become easier as that time goes on. But yeah, obviously getting that first sort of domino to fall can sometimes be the tricky part. But yeah, I definitely, and Liam will back me up on this one from the conversations that we've had. Those dominoes aren't too far from starting to fall, I would like to think. So yeah, hopefully sooner than later, we will have some positive news. That there might still be outgoings that we will see, but at the end of the day, if it has to be a full rebuild, it's going to be a full rebuild. And it's not going to happen straight away. You'll see that obviously we'll start with the squad. We'll probably have a few trialists when we go to Mask. But even across pre-season, players will become available again. So it's maybe not all going to fall into place at once, but it's going to be busy. But things will fall into place, and like I say, once we get that first one, I expect that we'll see a few follow.
Yeah, I was going to say, I mean, and first of all, we obviously know things and hear things, and you guys will know it even quicker than I do, and we can't give it, and it's nothing to do with we want to be able to break news or be the first to find out, whatever. We literally don't want to give opposition clubs an advantage in signing any of the players that might come to Whitby first. We don't want to drive up the cost of the player as well. So it's all for the right reasons. And of course, as soon as we're able to give information, we certainly will do. But we look forward to the start of the new season. And players are funny, aren't they, Liam? I mean, they're obviously, as you would, they're sitting back, they're thinking, well, wonder who Whitby are going to bring in. Are they going to do well? Are they going to struggle? They'll want to see 1 or 2 players on the board where they can go, oh, well, they're bringing him in. Oh, okay, all right. Well, I'm interested now. Let's talk.
Yeah, well, that's it. Like Paul mentioned there, it kind of just it feels like once one comes in, we may well have more to follow, and we certainly hope that'll be the case. And like you also referenced there, Lee Bullock and Denny Ingram are working tirelessly and speaking to players on a regular basis. And, we understand that there are quite a few deals out there on the table. Hopefully a few of them will be close. A few of them coming down to, sort of players and looking at their options, and also, just assessing whether they think it's the right move for them. But, it will all come together. We've got full faith in there. And, I know that people naturally panic. I've seen a few jokey comments on social media on about saying, is it a 5-a-side league we're entering next season? We will have a squad together, of course we'll, by the start of the season, and going into pre-season there will be quite a few named players in those squads as well. It's just about being patient. You've got to remember that in reality we're very early on, really, in the off-season still. We've got basically the season finished less than a month ago. Pre-season starts in sort of 6 or 7 weeks time from now, so there's plenty of time for things to change. It's part and parcel of non-league football, really. With players run out of contracts at the end of a season, it happens regularly, and there will be departures to be announced pretty imminently. There will be players coming in imminently as well, so you've got to take the rough with the smooth, I guess. But yes, it's alarming that you see all these players departing, but at the end of the day, it happens. We're coming into this on the back of 2 really poor seasons, so it may not be a bad thing. But I think, again, it's just reiterating that patience element to supporters.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, as soon as the information can be brought to you, we will. And throughout the summer, we'll keep you up to date here on the Codcast. So thank you very much to Liam Ryder, to Paul Connolly, to Denny Ingram, to Graeme Hinchliffe, and to Martin Hart as well. And a reminder that tickets are still available for that Centenary Dinner, which is on Saturday, the 23rd of May. Thank you to you for listening, and we'll be back next week with more from Whitby Town. Bye for now.